Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Creators Outlet. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, please head over to the Creators Outlet channel on YouTube and please subscribe, ring that bell, and you can also find Creators Outlet on Linktree, and you can find us anywhere you get social media. And today, we're going to welcome Mike and Trish.
Bankston.
There we go. If there's a last name in there, I'll screw it up. I was going to get close to it, but so
if you get close to it and you're not trying to make a mockery of it, I'm usually good with it because it's a weird name.
It's Dutch for son of the bank.
Son of the who?
Son of the bank.
Son of the bank. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's what people said.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure.
Right, but I know that Mike's grandpa used to make the money plates.
My grandpa didn't make money plates.
I thought it was your grandpa that made the money plates.
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No,
well,
that's what they talk about in the old country that they figure happened. I don't really know.
Well, that's what Mike's older generation always told me was that they made money plates back in the day, so.
And now the younger generation is making comic books.
That's right.
So, I know about you, but I'm going to find out more about you and start with your love of comics and when that started.
Well, a million years ago when I was young, I asked my dad to get me a Spider-Man and a Superman coloring book when he went to town because we lived out in the country. He got me a Superman coloring book, but they didn't have Spider-Man coloring books back then because, well, I mean, they had to chip them into stone tablets. And he picked me up my first comic book, which I absolutely couldn't read because I was too young. And that's really where my love of comics started. I made everybody read that to me until I memorized it. Hey, the link's going up.
Yeah. It's the link. Bum, bum, bum.
See, Mike has this wholesome start to comics, and mine is like my grandma raised me, so we didn't talk about sex. So I knew they had naughty comics at the comic book store, and my cousin Tommy was into comics. So he's like, we can go get you. And that's where I learned about sex was comic books, and that's where my love affair came from. It. Mike's all wholesome. My daddy bought it. Me, I'm like, no, I wanted sex ed, and my grandma wasn't going to tell me about it.
Well, yeah, but you watched the Super Friends and stuff like
Oh,
that
yeah.
as a kid.
Oh, yeah. I loved all that
And
stuff.
if you were having sex in that age,
No.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
talking
I
like
mean-
14 to 16. But no, as a little kid, I loved all the superhero stuff. I used to get up, 6:00 in the morning to make sure and run home to watch Thundercats. And
like all good kids did when
oh yeah,
when cartoons were I got to watch a cartoon. Nowadays it's streaming.
I know. I miss Saturday morning cartoons. Waking up at 5
Oh,
o'clock.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd have that bowl of cereal, and you'd be like 2 inches from the TV, and your parents be yelling at you, "You're gonna go blind!" and sit there until 11 o'clock because you had to watch the CBS Saturday special, and then you had to watch Pee-wee and Glow, and then regular wrestling, and yeah.
Well, and you had to watch all three stations as best you could. Just flip.
Oh yeah, and it was hands up because that's why you had to be close to the TV so you could
yeah.
flip it.
But once again, that's 1,000 years ago.
Kids will never know the trouble.
Our kids have never manually turned the TV station. They don't even know what that is.
That's true. That's true. Our girls have never had to manually switch a TV. And we have 20-year-olds, so.
I was thinking of locking my daughter in a room with a rotary phone, an old rabbit ear TV with a roll of aluminum foil, and a note on how to operate everything in cursive.
Oh my gosh.
So he was thinking suicide,
Right.
but something stopped him. Good luck.
You know what? I forget. how the girls were, I think, like our oldest was like 8 maybe at the time, and that's when like PlayStation first came out, and they're like, Mom, we got to have PlayStation for Christmas. And we talked about it, and I'm like, that is a $200 thing. I'm like, there's the Atari that we had how many hours of fun playing Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. And you know what? Our girls love that more than their PlayStations.
No, they loved it because we had a lot of games for it.
Yeah.
But anytime, I mean, it's just a thing. You go over there and you play the PS4, and then you start playing a PS1 game, and you're going to realize the tech has advanced so much. You're like, how did I love this so much? I mean, video games have really gone leaps and bounds since, the 8-pixel Atari games we played as a kid versus I look like I'm in the room. I mean, that's a lot. I mean,
so Will, do you play any games?
The only thing I play nowadays is Neverwinter on the PC.
We've played Neverwinter a bit.
Mm-hmm. We've played Conan. We've played, of course, World of Warcraft. We're playing Wizards 101 right now. So we've played a whole slew of them.
But Trish is all in when she's playing a game. Like, it's all we're going to play. We're not going to play anything else. And when we play something else, we're probably done with that last thing. So we will literally be playing World of Warcraft 12 hours a day. And then one day she'll be like, I was thinking we'd try this out, and we'll never play we'll play it again in 2 years.
Again. Yeah, we jump back and forth on the games.
No, we don't jump back and forth. We jump all into a new game, and the other one's out.
Yep. But then when we jump back to it,
right,
it's all in.
But then it's new characters.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's also that. I have a ton of World of Warcraft characters that are the max level of whenever I left the game.
And are now like the equivalent of level 10.
Yes.
Yeah, now they're useless, and we're not even going to start from that level. We're going to start from level 1 again, and I'm just like, oh no. And then I'm going to play the exact same missions that I've played, 50 times before, and hopefully we're going to get past those missions to new stuff before Trish gets bored and moves to a new thing. Conan was the craziest, although, because that had multiple worlds, and we're like, oh, let's start this new world, which meant we started new characters. Every world was just like new characters. So I learned to make clothes over and over again. I learned to make stone weapons over and over again.
And how to eat those bugs.
I learned to eat bugs over and over again. There was a lot of experiences in Conan that I had to learn over and over again.
Well, the first game like that I played, one of my best friends who's passed away, schooled me. He goes, "You're gonna love this game because it's comic books." I go, it was City of Heroes.
I've never played it. I mean, I seen there was like a card game for it that at a con they were going to teach me, but I didn't have time. But I wanted to play it. Did it turn out really good?
The actual video game, when it was still running, it's on you can find it like on a private server now. Like people have like redone it and launched it on a private server, but it doesn't really exist anymore. They took the whole thing down and got rid of it. Because they had City of Heroes, and then not long afterwards, they birthed City of Villains. It was a lot more fun to play the villains.
It a lot of times is.
Hey, Lorenzo Sleestak.
Well, we play DC Online, and we always play the villains. But that's because I can understand the villains' hideout on DC Online better than I can with the superheroes. I'm like, I get lost. I'm like, I end up in the PvP area, and I'm like, this is not where I want to be.
But that's because you did the villains first.
Right.
I mean, you're going to learn the one, and then you're not really going to want to learn the other. I mean,
Well,
Kate can get around.
most of City of Heroes, City of Villains was people creating costumes for their character that emulated actual superhero and villain costumes in comic books, which was illegal in that game. If they saw you, they would boot you off the server and give you a warning the first time. The second time, they would wipe your account.
Oh wow! Because
So
I would wanna emulate Harley because I do in DC Online. I have a character like her and Ivy both.
but way back then, I don't think Harley wasn't even a thing back then. Um, but like I had an Aquaman, I had a really good Vision,
Mm.
as I call it, the real Vision, like the original, like green and yellow. Um, but what you'd have to do is that there was a hotkey that you could program that would turn everything on your character, everything on your character's costume black. So you'd have to fly around like stealth because, like in the real world, there's always somebody there, waiting to dial 911 because they saw you like run over a turtle in the middle of the street when you were going 90. Uh, so we'd have to wait till like we were all together and inside an instance, and then we would put our costumes back to normal. And then came along a certain episode of South Park playing WoW.
Yes, yes.
Killing sheep.
Killing them sheep.
So we went to Best Buy and we both bought the new WoW. Because I had actually played the World of Warcraft PC game prior to the, Mamorg.
Yes.
And of course, I went online. I found the key for God code, so I could just play straight through and end the game. That there was no ending to.
You're right. There's no end to it. Why would you want to do that? You miss out on meeting all the fun little dorky characters through it.
Nope, just want to kill everybody. But Blizzard has another game.
Diablo.
Nope, it's like a sci-fi thing.
It's Starfinder.
No.
Oh wait, no, it's something like that. Although I know what you're talking about. Although because they have a medieval game and they have a sci-fi game, but we never played it, so it doesn't matter.
Let's see. I'll find it. Overwatch.
Oh yeah, our daughter loves that. She loves that one. But
So
that is straight up PvP. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no discover this or that. It is.
Yeah, I thought that was just like a fighting game.
Yeah, that
I
is
didn't
strictly
think
a
that
fighting
was like
game.
World of Warcraft.
Mm-mm.
I have never played it, although that entire franchise was bought off of two comic book creators at a little convention, and they bought the rights to everything, and it was created by Martin Dunn and Javier Lugo. They bought all the copies, all the rights for a big chunk of change to both of them. And I own one of those books that's not supposed to be in circulation anymore.
Oh wow.
And it's got an original sketch from Javier on the back.
Oh,
wow,
that's really cool.
That's amazing.
And the book is in error because the printer screwed up and forgot to print like 2 pages.
Wow. That's worth a pretty penny, I guarantee you.
I wish I could find out because I'd sell it because I have no interest in the game.
Well, it's worth however much somebody will pay for it.
That's true. That's true. But
Mhm.
like our daughter Overwatch, I mean, she's got the bumper sticker on the back of her car. She knows their moves. She knows everything about every character. And it's like, she's like, I learned it all by watching you and Mike and Warcraft, Mom. I'm like,
She did not learn that from us. It's a fighting game. World of Warcraft is a role-playing game.
Right, it's a role-playing. But she learned to play role-playing games. And
well, yeah, she
watching us.
learned to sit hours in front of the computer like a vegetable from us. I get that. I mean, I understand we gave the children some bad habits.
It happens.
Well, the kids got mad one day because somebody was better than them in a game, and I was just like, so what you're trying to complain about is these people waste more of their life on this game than you do. And they're like, what? Yeah, because it just takes giving your life to the game to get better. I mean, that's all it takes. Just hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of your life. These people wasted more of it than you. You guys have a better life.
Oh,
and they're like, whoa.
Tell Will what the girls did, though, with our Champions of Norrath game.
Oh, well, I mean, they're kids. And when they were younger, Trish and I went through and beat the Champions of Norrath and got all the big weapons at the end. And then they're like, do you want to play it again with all your stuff? And I'm like, whoa. And so we started to play it again with all our stuff. And we're just like, well, you know, this ain't no challenge because we can crush everything now. And so the game was just sitting. And the kids wanted to play something. We're like, oh, well, you could play our characters. They're powerful. You won't die. You'll be fine. They played the naked, no naked game. Not that it would ever let you actually get naked. You just got down to your undergarments. They sold all our equipment for you know whatever they gave you for it, and then bought new crappy equipment. And it was just a giant disaster because they had the best stuff the game offered. They couldn't get better equipment. So I was just like, well, there's that.
Build back better.
Yeah, don't let the kids play the video games.
I kind of like playing tabletop games better.
We do too. We are very much actually, it doesn't matter. We'll play White Wolf. We'll play, you know, Pathfinder, D&D,
but there's
Champions,
a lot of them.
You name it, we'll play it.
The problem is they're making all the D&D products woke now too. They're getting rid of characters because orcs are racist and all this other stuff. So I will only buy books up to like a few years ago.
Well, they're going to continue to do what they want to do with stuff, but I mean, the people demand it, so it's a weird spot.
Yep, the people that don't play it demand it, so they do it.
Well, they're going to do what people want to buy. At some point, it will come down to what people are going to buy. If nobody buys their product, they're going to quit that product. So it's all going to come, you know. If you continue to back things with money, the things that you back are probably what they're still going to make. If people still want to buy this, you know, new stuff, they're going to make it. They changed all of Vampire, and people hated it. And then finally they went back to the old Vampire. And now you can get both of them, but
is that a Vampire Masquerade?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the 90s it was one game, but you know, that game ended. And later on, they came out with Vampire the Requiem, and it wasn't the same. I mean, it had similarities. It had some of the same stuff, but it wasn't the same. It
definitely was a different generation that they were gearing it towards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not the original generation. but the 16 to 21-year-olds, it was geared more towards them, and the PC ruling. You know what I mean? Where
Vampire's never been very PC.
but it was not as hardcore as the original, where you strive to keep your humanity. You know what I mean? It was kind of
nobody plays that, although. I mean that's a vampire mechanic they just threw under the bus. Just nobody plays the horror aspect of vampire. You're a superhero. Every campaign we've played, basically, you're a vampiric superhero.
Yep.
So, there's that.
we were Morbius.
Maybe.
I still have the original store poster for Masquerade from the 90s. The wanted poster.
Yeah, I bought so much Vampire the Masquerade back when. And then I started buying it, when I ran into like those auctions at cons and stuff where they were just selling used books. And then at one point I realized I had 4 or 5 copies of different books, and I was like, oh, I got to be cutting this down some.
Mhm.
But when we moved from Iowa, we got rid of all the extra role-playing stuff.
Yeah, we gave a lot of it away to like whoever was part of our group. We're like, hey, you need a set of books to keep up here? Here you go. Wait, you gamed with us too? Do you need a set too? Let me give you a set too.
Well, they weren't sets. They were partial sets.
Right.
They were missing things.
But every once in a while, I'll back like a tabletop game campaign as long as it's tied into something comic booky.
I backed a horror game last year. It's still not out. It was supposed to be released in December, but they are still updating us. They're working on it. I like a lot of horror stuff. So
last year, 2 years ago now, I backed the Umbrella Academy card game.
Oh, that would be cool. Did it come out?
Yeah, I got it. I was about to write them a mean email, and this thing was supposed to be here 2 months ago, and then it came in, and I was expecting, for $100, I was expecting this.
Oh wow!
This grand presentation. It was a little box about this big.
Wow.
Was it a good game at least?
I took the wrap, the cellophane off the actual box and looked inside, and it was basically 2 decks of cards, and I'm like, okay, you can't play with anybody because COVID, and but once everything gets straightened, my girlfriend and I will be. I've got a Lord of the Rings card game. That's like a 2-player game. I don't know where I got it. It's just here. I'm like, okay. And I backed the Dark Knight Returns tabletop game.
Now our daughters just gave Mike for his birthday a Joker card game.
Ooh, I saw that. And I keep seeing the price drop a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there.
Yeah,
and
that scares me. We haven't played it yet, but when a game comes out and the price starts dropping, generally it means that wasn't really that good of a game.
Yeah, that's probably something that I will buy and, put up somewhere.
Well, I mean, you can always have some fun with it. I mean, we own a ton of games. And,
okay,
2 things.
That is going the opposite way of where I'm sitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's an extension because I have a corner unit in the building I live in. The other buildings don't have this; it just stops. So I've got an extra 8 by 20 feet here that you're looking at.
Wow.
And that is one of 2 book, real wood, solid, heavy as hell bookcases. And it's overloaded with stuff. And yes, Mike, Essentials and Showcase Presents books are comics because there's comics inside.
Well, there is comics inside. They just don't feel like comics to me. I mean,
They're on cheap newsprint, but when they redo a lot of stuff now and re-release it, uh, you're not getting the original line work from the actual artist that worked in the book. These you do. There's been like an artist fan movement on like the Showcase Presents and the Marvel Essentials, and I've seen some of them selling for like 30 to $50 because some of them are harder to find than others, and a lot of artists want to study the original line work from this guy or that guy. And I bought them because they were cheap and I couldn't afford to buy the originals.
Well, that's a lot of on some of the shows we were talking about, when we buy books, if you can get the whole trade for $5-10 instead of the 7 or 8 issues that are in it. If you buy each issue and you're spending $12 a piece, so that's $60, $5-10 or $60. I'd rather pay the $5-10 and just get the story, unless there's some kind of art, that you have to have.
Yeah,
your whole roughness of it, and it's a thing. In order to get a trade, you've got to put out the 5 or 6 issues. If nobody buys the issues, they're never going to get to 5 or 6 to put out the trade. Because the trade will not come before the issues usually. So if the issues just bomb, we put out the first issue, nobody bought it.
Right, but I'm talking like, wouldn't you like to at least read the story of Superman 1 or
no,
you know what I mean? Or where?
Well, yeah, the old stuff that's already been out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the new stuff. I'm talking about old school stuff. It's nice to have it in.
Well, the thing too with like Marvel, DC, and Image, and some of the other ones, the same week the final issue of that limited series drops is the same week that the entire trade shows up on the shelf too.
Yeah, they're pushing them pretty fast. So I mean, a lot of times if my comic shop has problems getting the issues in, if you miss the first issue or 2 of a series, you could just wait for the trade. I mean, at this point, which is kind of sad. I mean, admittedly, you're skipping all the monthly stuff. But, if it's how they really want to do it, my comic shop sold out of Devil's Reign, the new Daredevil storyline. So when I went down there, I was like, well, I was going to pick this up. You don't have it in no more? He's like, oh, no, but we'll get it back in. I'm like, well, if you get it back in, I'll pick all the issues up. But, when I go down to get my books the next time, if he doesn't have it, I'll just get the trade. And that'll be that.
So when you were talking about card games, have you tried the DC card game?
Nope.
It's pretty fun.
I love it. There is 12 different expansions to it.
Well, which DC card game? Because there's a million of them out there.
This is the collectible card game. It is.
No.
No, it's not collectible.
It's not collectible.
It's not collectible. That's the thing. It's
Yeah, because Hasbro.
No, but I can take out the lid. I can get the lid for it.
If you lift the box.
Oh no, that's over my 12 pounds. That's over my 12 pounds. I know.
The game is really heavy. I mean, it's brought a ton of stuff out.
We have all the sets.
Now we have most of the sets. I don't know if we're current because the girls haven't been here for a day or 2. No, don't pick it up. There you go.
Here.
Okay.
This is the collected box. It's a deck building game. Multiverse, Cryptozoic. It's not a bad game.
Oh yeah, I've got the first 2, and then was a little I was disappointed I played it, and because I live alone, but I found somebody who basically used their mechanics, but taught you how to play a single player game.
Well, I'm not 100% sure how to play a single player game or if that would be fun, but as far as like, it's got a lot of expansions, and we have friends over, and COVID be what COVID is, but our friends still stop over, and 4 or 5 players, you have pretty good games. They're never the same because it's just the nature of it shuffled up.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably haven't even played every character in it now, because every expansion probably releases 8 to 10 characters.
But there is a 2-player mode. That's why I asked you specifically. It is Batman versus Joker that is part of that world.
It's part of that world, but it's almost a different game.
Right, it's its own entity, but it is a 2-player Batman versus
right.
Batman versus Joker.
And then later on, they released some expansions to where you can play other heroes versus other villains.
Right.
But
I know the first one that I bought had Batman, Joker, Ra's al Ghul, and then I bought the second one because it had like Hawkman and Cyborg and a few other characters in it. But then I found out, goes, yeah, you really don't need the original to play the others. It's all the same game, just different characters.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. You can take any set out of it and play it pretty much by itself. I don't think you need the base thing for anything.
Nope, they all have the punches.
You need punches, kicks, and you do need punches and kicks. They don't come in every set.
Punches and kicks, and there's something else that
Weaknesses.
You need. Weaknesses. Yeah, you need those 3 from the original set or any other set, because
other base set. There's only like 3 base sets.
Right. If you're going to play like 5 to 6 people, you need those extra sets. You know what I mean? Or otherwise you're shorting your game. So then it's like, oh, okay, we're out of punches. Nobody can do punches or nobody can do kicks. And those are your basic cards.
Yeah. I won off a podcast a couple of years ago. I won the Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe game.
Oh, that would be kind of cool. I really liked Valiant back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's not the 90s. It's the updated one. But the cool thing about this is Bat and the Sun production company.
No, doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, well.
Enlighten us, Will. Enlighten us.
I will enlighten you. And I will bring something up. Let's see. We will. Let's just go here. We'll go to their YouTube channel. So, clear that out. And clear this out. And we'll stop sharing that for a second. And we will go here. Welcome to Bat and the Sun. Aaron Shinoki is the best Joker I've ever seen, and it was actually a campaign to get him as like DC's next Joker. They do a bunch of stuff. They do like an episodic one called The Waiting Room, and they have all the people that dress up. But then they have battles, and the costumes that they do are amazing. They do something with Jason Frank David, My Morphin Life.
We've met him a few times out of a few cons.
But Bat and the Sun got together with Valiant Entertainment, not the same as the 90s, and they did a movie like a short film for Valiant of Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. JFD was Bloodshot and looked just like Bloodshot out of the comics.
Wow.
They had another actor. I can't remember his name. He played a really good Exo Man of War.
Mm-hmm.
And the wrestler that just got released a few weeks ago from WWE again, who was the Miz's partner there.
Oh, John Morrison.
John Morrison played Eternal Warrior.
That's kind of cool.
Mike is very, very hardcore into wrestling.
I was hardcore into wrestling.
Right. It's gotten a lot different, we'll say.
So I'm going to share.
Please do. That is amazing.
One of these videos. Now the top one they did is Black Widow versus Black Canary. They did Flashpoint Batman versus Killmonger. Deadpool versus Deathstroke. Michael Myers versus the Look-See. Joker versus Negan.
Oh.
And there's two of those. One has, I believe, an alternative ending. Harley's in there too. So,
oh
wow. And they do something called the Superpower Beatdown. They did one years ago of superpowers versus Star Wars. And it was Batman versus Darth Vader. Because the Empire had kidnapped Superman. Mm-hmm. It was so good though.
Hello and welcome to Superpower Beatdown episode 23, the show where we debate, discuss, and you the fans decide who would win in an epic legendary battle. I'm your host, Jen Winger, and we're here at our favorite comic book shop, Collector's Paradise. Today we will be battling the zombie-killing monster from The Walking Dead, the man himself, Negan, versus the maniacal clown prince of crime, the Joker. Now let's send it over to Damien Buer at New York Comic Con and see what the fans have to say.
Hey guys, Damien here at New York Comic Con 2017 to find out who's going to win this epic beatdown. We're going to go talk to some fans. Let's go! All right, Carnage, who do you think is going to win this beatdown, the Joker or Negan?
We choose Negan. Why? Because he's bad like us.
I think the Joker's going to win.
I got to be a little bit loyal to the Joker.
Definitely the Joker. He's a pretty funny guy. But his jokes, they're bad.
The Joker.
Why?
Because he has all the tricks.
We'll just skip right into the film.
Never gets old.
So this is Kevin, whose last name escapes me currently. He played Negan in these. He has played Batman multiple times because he's like close to 7 feet tall. And he played Armstrong in the Valiant movie.
Archer and Armstrong.
Yep. The movie was cool. It's probably still available to find on YouTube somewhere. But that card game, except for Shadow Man, because they hadn't shown him yet, is actual art. The rest are all photographs of the actors in costume that played the characters in the game.
Nice.
Take a good look. What we've become. And to live. City of scars.
Oh, I love that look.
He is my favorite Joker. There it is. No, they won't click that frame. No. All right.
And to live. City of scars.
I hate to interrupt this little freaky thing you got going on. I was a little surprised when you took me up on that offer, but I read the news today and boy.
I must say, I'm impressed.
Why is that?
Well, you're a lot bigger than you look on TV.
Yeah, well, my mama fed me well. But right now, Lucille's the one that's hungry.
I see you're a bat guy. I already got one of those. You kind of remind me of him, though.
So I'm guessing this pretty little thing right here is our witness.
Yes, this is Harley Quinn, and she'll be streaming our entire fight for the underworld to see when I rip your face off.
That ain't gonna happen. Many have tried and all have failed, Q-Tip. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I see. Then why don't you step up, Big Daddy? Mono, mono.
All right. But let's walk through this again. Just so I understand, because sometimes I'm a little slow. Now, if you win, you get my posse. All of them.
Everyone.
Now, when I win, I get two things. I get your humble little abode that you got here.
It's pretty damn good, huh?
It is, but okay, I have my thoughts on this. The original Joker, it would have been over as soon as he got that close because of his acid spray flower on his lapel.
Yep.
It would have been over right there and then. That's my only, but that's because I am a true Joker fan and I know a lot of his tricks that he's got up his sleeve. So that's why I'm saying, for me, it would have been over because that is Negan's. Because we watched Walking Dead and we read
we watched Walking Dead. Not too much after Negan went crazy.
Right, but I'm just saying Negan's big thing was that he did have his posse. He's by himself now. So just on of what I know and tricks and trades, Joker would have won 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think it was something where they merged. They merged both worlds, and Joker sent out a challenge because he wanted Negan's posse. So, kind of like a duel to the death kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I get her. How's that sound?
Great, Harley, roll the camera. Let's get this show on the road.
All right, fans, coming to you from Mr. J's creepy basement, the fun! Today's battle royale is between the sexiest, most handsome, and dangerous man alive, the Joker, and this other guy that needs a shave, Negan. Today's rules are no guns and no explosives. Whatever. All right, gents, get ready, set, and...
Harley, turn the camera around.
And go!
Come on.
You got this, Mr. J. Oh, boy. Look how pretty!
Well, my little people of Gotham, it turns out that this poor sap here was no match for the clown prince of crime. Don't interrupt me when I'm monologuing. You know I hate that.
Behind you!
I like it rough.
Look at this. You pale face. Son of a bitch.
Oh, shucks, but you're getting arrested!
Oh, shit, Harley.
Put it up!
Get up, you smiling little asshole. We ain't done yet.
Naughty, naughty! Guns are against the rules!
There's a shocker. I'm cheating. Negan, come out to play.
Come on, goddammit. My granddaddy always told me, be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you'll wish for a bucket of shit. And you, my friends, are the bucket of shit. All right, Whitey. Time to take it like a champ. How about them biscuits. Eat them biscuits. Who owns this place now? Say it. Say it, little man. Say it.
Need a light?
Ooh, good! You won! You won! Yay! You won!
What'd you expect? Now get me a glass of water.
Yes, sir. Coming right up.
Time to float.
No floating today, bitch.
I love you, Harley. Let's get out of here.
Let's see how the fans voted. We have a whopping
See, like if it was Joker's true hideout, there would have been like pressure plates. There would have been toys around that did little stuff. It is, I mean, it was amazing and it kept me glued to the seat. But there was so much other stuff as a Joker fan that I'm like, he would have won 10 minutes before Negan even got there. He would have never expected everything that Joker usually has laid out.
But I mean, Joker makes big errors. Otherwise, he'd beat Batman every time.
But truly, he does. Batman just keeps sticking him in jail.
He doesn't beat him. You don't. I mean, you don't
I
beat
know what
him with
you're
your
saying.
face. I mean, he doesn't like getting stuck in jail over and over and over again. So I mean, Joker makes big errors, which is he's crazy. I mean, he'd let Negan come in there. He'd let him fight him. Well, I mean, like it showed you.
Right.
He'd let him do that stuff. Now he won, which was great because I'm a bigger Joker fan than a Negan fan. But yeah, he took an ass beating out of it too.
What are your thoughts on it, Will?
I like this stuff because you get to see they've got so much stuff like in their library that it's like ridiculous. There was another one that was there was a fan film by somebody else. It was called Batman Dead End. And it's got Joker in it. But the guy who played Joker was Walter Koenig's son.
Oh wow!
He is dead now, but he played the Joker, and it was him basically chasing the Joker into a dead end. Well, they stumbled into the middle of an aliens versus predator fight.
That would be a little different.
Yeah, so it was pretty damn cool, but there's so much of that out there. But yeah, definitely check out Bat and the Sun and
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I that was really interesting. It's kind of like, I forget what that one show is, the death matches that we used to watch on like MTV.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's where they got the idea, and they've done like Batman versus Deadpool, and Batman's like blown him up and done all these other things to him, but Deadpool can't die, so it's kind of like he just kind of like reforms, and even when he decapitates him, he's still just shooting one-liners and saying like all kinds of dumb stuff to him, but.
So with the DC lineup, which movie are you most excited for?
None of them. Everybody goes, Oh, we got to get HBO Max because that's where they're putting all the DC. I don't care.
I fan out for all the stuff, but I I don't. I'm so happy to see it. That's all. I suppose it's easy to be critical of everything. I don't want to be. I mean, I really wanted there to be superhero movies when I was young, and there wasn't. Now that there are superhero movies, I'm happy to see all of them. Now, are they all the best they could be? Nah, they're probably not. But I didn't have that movie before. And will it ever be as good as the comics? No, it won't. But they could probably make a cartoon as good as the comics if they wanted. But that's about it. I mean,
well, DC's animation is still like way better than Marvel's, but
well, yeah, DC has been doing better with the animation than Marvel has, and Marvel's been doing better with the movies than DC has. But neither.
I am looking forward to Black Adam.
Well, I mean that's The Rock. I mean,
I don't care who's playing Black Adam. I'm more interested in seeing the JSA.
Me too. I loved the JSA growing up, and I know like with the twins, it was what were their names with the Gleek?
Zen and Jaina.
That was the Super Friends.
Oh, well, whatever. I love that show too growing up.
Yeah, that was the Super Friends. That's basically the Justice League with a different name.
Right, but I mean, I love the team stuff because then you could build
the Wonder Twins.
Yeah, the Wonder Twins. You could build so much more. It's not just always like love.
I'm so old. It was Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
That was before the Wonder Twins. Yeah.
Oh, please! You're the same age as us. What are you? 52? Mike?
I'm 52.
See, I'm 45. So I mean.
My girlfriend's 40.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations and F love.
Yeah.
No, congratulations and good luck. I mean.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You have your heart pills nearby. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So, yeah, I miss the Saturday morning cartoons, but there's other things. I'm kind of excited to see, Dr. Fate on the big screen. So,
yeah, it would be nice. I'm super excited to see the new Doctor Strange movie. I'm hoping that they finally give the fans what they want. I'm not sure why they don't do that more often. Did you watch The Mandalorian?
Yes, and I loved it. And I just watched the newest episode of Book of Boba Fett today.
Okay, I haven't seen the newest episode
of
Book
of
Boba
yeah,
Fett.
not today's episode. We haven't watched today's episode.
But yeah, the final episode of The Mandalorian, I was like, no, they won't do it. And they did it. Mm-hmm. And I just geeked out. I mean, I'm probably lucky I didn't have a heart attack.
Oh, I was in tears and I was like, go, Luke, go, get that little baby.
Don't spoil stuff.
It's a year
old. It's only a year old.
I think I don't think I'm spoiling much.
Yeah, you're no longer spoiling.
If you haven't watched it by now, too bad.
Yeah, I guess after a year you probably. I venomously avoid spoilers as best I can.
Mike will deliberate if somebody's like, "Oh, on this or that," and they tell it how it is, and they're like, "No spoilers," you know what I mean? And they just say what or something they didn't like in the movies. Nope, off the friends list because if you're going to ruin it before anybody has a chance to see it, especially opening weekend.
Well, yeah. Why in the world would you do that? That's not a friend thing to do.
No,
I mean. even if the movie sucked or if it was great, I want to see it for myself before someone tells me what happened.
Yeah.
And that's,
Like I haven't seen the new Spider-Man movie, but I know most of the highlights, so it's like, but I could hear them all, but I'm still gonna want to sit down and watch it. Uh,
See, we
case
went.
in point, I was in rehab the whole time, like the Batman versus Superman stuff was going on, and so I was reading like everybody trashing the crap out of it. So I was expecting the worst movie possible.
which might have been great for you because then you go in there with lower expectations.
Yeah, and I was like, this is pretty good. Of course, I didn't. I saw the revamped version.
Well, see, like Eternals, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I never read the comic, so I went in there expecting a superhero movie, with a good moral compass, good acting, and that's what I got, and I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I know, is it everybody's highest? No, but as a non-reader of that comic, I enjoyed what I watched.
Trish, there are no readers of that comic.
Is there? Why?
It's the Eternals. It's one of the least big properties Marvel's got. I mean, there's probably still 50 things that have sold more copies that Marvel could have done. And they're like, we're going to go with the Eternals. Now, they tried the Inhumans. They tried like a TV series for it, and it didn't really go over well. But the Eternals is, I mean, it goes back to Kirby, which is great. But I read some Eternals because, I used to read every comic under the sun that I could get my hands on, but not enough to really know the story. So most people don't really they're not Eternal readers. And there's not been an ongoing Eternal series. There's we run 12 issues here, then we stopped. Then you got 6 more issues 4 years later. Then we stopped.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not like Superman readers where, I've read Superman for 20 years. No, I read Eternals for 20 years. Of course, it's 12 issues.
And Will has all 12 of those issues in his boxes, I bet. No.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know if you're an Eternals fan, but I mean...
Nope.
It's
Not
like
at all.
It's like the New Gods. DC could do the New Gods. It's a very similar type deal. Now, the stories aren't the same at all, but I mean, the New Gods are a property. They've been around forever, but it's never been a major property.
I love Kirby's Fourth World at DC.
Well, Kirby did some great things, but not all of it got the traction that it needed. Not all of it went as far as it needed to go.
And then he left and went back to Marvel again. So,
well, he probably followed the money.
Well,
I can't.
As we all should.
I can't never fault anyone for that. Just show me the money.
I've done plenty of things for money that I'm not proud of.
$20 is $20.
Yep. It's like, were you ashamed of making all that money when you worked as a DJ in the strip clubs? Yes, I was mortified that I had to look at pretty girls and take their money. And would laugh when they asked me, "Can I get some money?" No. This is a deposit only. Speaking of which,
that's our campaign. Yes.
Let's talk about this now. So I learned from chatting in DMs to Trish today that Chuck Pennell was involved in the book.
Yep, he's our
The
editor.
And yeah, because that's what he does.
Right.
Well, he writes too, but
yes, eloquently too.
He likes the big words sometimes.
Yes.
And I know
Well,
a mutual friend Phil might have had something to do with a little bit of coloration on the cover.
actually,
Phil colored a copy of that.
right, and that's
We-
going out as our first Kickstarter backer because I
Our
want
stretch goal.
as our stretch goal is it's a print. A print is going out of that same thing, but colored by Phil, and this one was colored by our internal colorist Shauna Mann.
Sergio Rios did the art for the book, the sequentials, and Sergio Rios did that cover, and we had Phil color it, and it also went to Shauna as part of the book, and she colored it too. We just double booked it, and Trish.
I love that pose. I love that pose of the girls, though.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause that's their like Cyndi Lauper pose down, and that's
not a pose down. It's an homage cover.
It's an homage cover because that's really what that whole album is. What this book is about. It's just about girls just wanting to have fun. You know what I mean? And it just is so. It's just so fun.
There's other stuff in the book.
I know. There's other stuff in the book. There's bad guys and there's conflict.
Well, yeah, there is, but when you start to tell it's all about one thing, and you state it's all about one thing,
but it's just
yeah, you're being misleading. That's
okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be misleading. There's other stuff besides just having fun in the book.
if I get a Justice League comic out here and say it's all about Batman, and they find that he's just one character in it,
right? Okay, but these characters are based on a campaign that we did too. So that's another thing that.
Yeah, I gamed one of these characters. I gamed Brink.
Right.
And so the characters come from gaming, but I mean, they're more developed than that now. I think it'll be good.
And then we also have covers by David Fott, Steph Wilson, Chris Madd, Justin Hunt.
And we will have a cover by Douglas Brown.
Right, which is a special tier for $100.
Which we'll get to on the campaign.
Okay, Mike says we'll talk about it later.
Well, you keep trying to explain it all.
Yeah, I know. I want to get it all out there so everybody knows it's our first attempt. So we're gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna make plenty of mistakes of what I should be talking about, what I shouldn't be talking about, because usually we're in the seat of the backers. This is our first attempt at doing it ourselves. Mike's been collecting for 40 plus years of comics, so this is our first attempt at doing it ourselves.
Well, you got the obligatory Steph Wilson cover. Steph is a pseudo neighbor of mine. We're not that far away on the map, but in driving time, it's about 40 minutes.
He also did chibi stickers for us as part of the stretch goals.
Oh, nice.
And then we also have, if our stretch goals reach far enough and wide enough, we have scratch and sniff bra and panty sets for stickers.
Oh, I don't think my girlfriend will let me get those.
No, they're stickers. They're stickers. They have the scent, which to me is really important because, I want to give you the full experience to this book. I mean, it's beautiful art to look at. It's going to tickle your mind. But I wanted to throw in another sense that
you wanted to give them something that hadn't been done before.
Yeah, and something that hadn't been done before. Because I don't think other Kickstarters.
It's a fun thing. It's not a book thing.
No, it's just a fun thing, and that's all I'm about is fun, and that's what this is for us is fun. So.
Oh, they added a whole bunch of new buttons. There we go. StreamYard updated while I was asleep, so.
Everybody that has StreamYard plays with it. We probably should just get StreamYard. We just haven't yet, and I don't know if we should because Trish might not ever get off it.
Because I like just talking. I mean that's the thing. The people that I book shows with, these are my friends. Yes, I would like to sell book covers and get out to their audience, but these are also people that I have a love of Joker. I know Will has a love of the Joker, and I mean we have mutual friendship, and that's why I wanted to be on a show where I had mutual friendship with people, not just to push the book, but I was like, hey, let's catch up because I've been out of commission for 6 months dealing with my back.
Well, yeah, but you have to decide which you're doing. I mean,
Yeah, a little bit of
do
both.
karate, yes. Do karate, no. But do karate too much is like great.
Eventually, I'll be like that professional, comic book creator. Let's talk about the book.
You'll never be like that pro professional. It's not in your ability
No,
to do
it's
that.
not. I'm like, what color is your rainbow out the window right now?
What I'm hoping for is that you'll get to the point where you're able to talk about the book without just let me tell you everything in the book, so you never have
And
to
issue
buy it.
5 and 6 that aren't even out yet.
Well, you can't because I literally don't give you any information, but you do know the first one.
And that's true, Will, because I never wanted to know the book until it was all the way done, which this book is all the way done. Like I said, you know what I mean? I wanted to get the whole start to finish story. I didn't want any
page
input.
at a time.
1 page at a time.
Mike, I think I understand now. Trish is Tom Holland.
Could be, yeah.
Just a
Yeah, a lot of times stuff gets a little crazy.
But that's my spin on it. Is nobody's done scratch and sniff bra and panty sets for stickers, and I definitely wanted
it's
to
a fun
do that.
stretch goal. I mean, it's great. It's not a book thing because I didn't do it. That's you. You're coming up with something fun. And nobody that we've talked to has thought that doesn't sound like fun. Nobody. Not a single one has come to that conclusion.
And it's also homage. My aunt, we put her in the book. She helped raise me.
No, we're not talking about that.
It's okay, but she bought me the cricket, and so she's like, I can't buy a comic. She's 62, and she's like, I can't buy a comic from you guys, but what can I do to help you? And I'm like, well, I need a cricket to make stickers. So she went out and she got me the cricket to make the stickers. So there's a little homage of her in the book too. So to my Aunt Deb.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
So I will ask Mike because Trish will give away too much of the plot. Mike,
no.
give us the plot rundown.
Well, that's just it. There's only one book, so I mean, I really can't give a ton of the plot away. That's what you're going to read. But they're 2 girls. They make up rules for love and magic. Brink has magic. Fetch doesn't. You'll find that out very, very soon. And there are things in the world that don't want to let them have fun, which, they're not entirely aware of in the beginning, and they'll discover them as they go along. There is conflict in the book, but there's also partying in the book. And it's an adult title. I don't really shy away from anything. So, well, I mean, and we have some naughty covers on top of it.
You cannot have Steph covers without having a naughty cover.
You can. I mean, you honestly can get a not naughty Steph cover, but why would you not let the man run? I mean,
exactly.
He's so good at what he does.
I used to joke around with Steph and tell him he was the reason I was single for so many years because I kept looking for women that looked like he draws them.
Well, yeah, they have them, but they're mostly exotic dancers now.
and plastic, yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, a bit of plastic sometimes.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of plastic up front, even more in the back. And it's like talking to a piece of plastic most of the time.
Sometimes. I mean, I went to strip bars back in the day. Some of them can be fun.
Oh, I'm not saying they're not fun.
Well, I mean, some of them can be fun to talk to. I mean,
That was my favorite job when I worked at a convenience store overnight, because the girls would finish at the strip club and then they'd come in and they'd be like, Trish, do you guys got any leftover pizza? And I'm like, sure, or whatever. Or I'd be like, I could throw you girls in one. And they'd all pay in ones, and it was a blast talking to them, and just you know what I mean. Most of them actually were going to college, and just because this is a strip club.
Sure, they were.
This is a strip club in Iowa. You know what I mean? So I mean, they were trying to make a difference, but they're like, it's really good money.
Some of them were trying to make a difference. Some of them just like money. I mean, people are odd that like money. I know it seems weird.
You like money?
But if you find out that you can work at the convenience store for like $10 an hour, or you can strip for $500 an hour, and you're like, oh, I don't know, what will I do with all that money? How
then
will
you just
I
take the job at the convenience store instead.
Yeah, I mean, so many people are turning away from stripping to work in convenience stores. There's just a flood.
Well, truthfully, with COVID, most of them have gone back to like.
No. Nobody is going back to a convenience store job. So where the unwashed masses can come in? No. Nobody's like, oh, there's COVID in the world. I'll turn away from this job and go to a convenience store. No, they sit at home and collect disability now. They're like, I can't work at all.
I saved this one for the Seanzilla art show, but thank you. I'm here all week.
And hopefully next week too, and the week after. But with
yeah,
girlfriend, who knows?
Yeah, she's way out of town this week, working at her job, and
at a convenience store, making the easy money.
Oh no, she works in the medical field, but she won't be coming home until like Sunday afternoon, so I can squeeze in a bunch of shows. Like I have You Now, followed by Sean's Art Streaming, and I got Boomer tomorrow, and possibly another creators outlet after Boomer. So we'll see. I know I've been getting hit up by a bunch of people. Hey, I got this and I got that. I'm like,
There's a ton of Kickstarters this month.
Yeah, everybody waited through December, and now everybody's launching now.
Well, I think basically you got 2 months worth of Kickstarters going into this month, because a lot of people didn't launch in December, so they kind of skipped that month, but they didn't skip working.
No.
So
there's a ton, and it drives everybody nuts. I know there's a ton of people that stop their campaigns in the fall.
Well, we had some medical problems, so we pushed off the campaign a bit.
Well, that's good, because there were way too many in the fall, and with people that are running Indiegogo, they do like the first 30 days, then they re-up to get that bump, and they do the next 30 days, so they're up there for like so the campaign's active for 2 months, and then go in demand afterwards over there. So you're like a 2-month campaign plus like 90 days of plug-in for sign-ups and everything else.
Well, see, that's why we were told the best way is go to Kickstarter and then go to Indiegogo and then go on demand.
Yeah.
What you can actually do too, if you don't want to have to run 2 campaigns, when this is all done funding, you can actually move your funded Kickstarter over to Indiegogo as an in-demand.
We're not likely to run a campaign followed by another campaign, because I'll go insane.
Right. No, we
So-
probably will just go
so-
in demand on Indiegogo.
Right, that's fine. I mean, we can run an in-demand campaign where we're selling off the extra copies we made of stuff, but I'm going to run a Kickstarter, and when the Kickstarter's done, I'm going to fulfill the Kickstarter. If we want to sell off the extra copies that we make of the book, great. And Indiegogo maybe is a good platform for selling off extra copies, but I'm not going to run another campaign. I always feel weird when people start running those campaigns because I'm always afraid that I backed your Kickstarter and then I see you're going to start an Indiegogo afterwards. Am I waiting till that's done till you start doing my book?
Right.
So I'm not doing that. The Kickstarter is our one and only, and we'll probably print off extra books and we'll sell them like on an Indiegogo on demand type deal, but no campaign. We do one campaign. 2
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
2 days we start our one campaign. It will run for a month. And when it's done, we rest. For 20 minutes.
Well,
Then we start fulfillment.
right, and then during this time, Mike and Chuck are working on issue 2 too. I'd like to point that out. This is not a one and done. Mike and Chuck are already in talks over issue 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, it needs to continue because it's the nature of comics. Everything good continues.
So,
Sometimes even if it's not good, it continues, but that's not this book.
yeah, enough about the current Marvel and DC runs.
I like some of Marvel and DC.
Yeah, so do I. Back in the 70s.
Oh, I like a lot of it. Well, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, when you read some of the old titles, they're not the same storytelling at all. But there are a lot of great stories out there.
Yeah, well, the biggest difference is it's not like one page, Batman knows everything and he wins.
Yeah.
You know, they called him the world's greatest detective because he detected, not just, I automatically know, Martian Manhunter telepathically he told me the answer because he read this issue.
Well, I mean, they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and made it bigger and bigger and bigger, and now they're starting to paint themselves into a box where they're kind of screwed. Just you can't only make a character better and better and better before you max it out. All right, we'll be right back in a sec.
Okay. So, guys, the link for the campaign.
Yes.
Hello.
Mike had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, thanks for sharing. I hope everything comes out okay.
That's the oversharing that I was talking about.
Yeah, he's like, don't overshare. And of course, Trish overshares, as always. Just call me Tom.
He'll be right back. He's got to plunge his way out of something. So when is the campaign launching?
On Friday on Indiegogo with Miss Krista and Varian at 11 o'clock.
You mean Indie Volt, not Indiegogo?
Yeah, Indievolt. Sorry. Yes. Yep, we're launching with them and got a whole 30 days of different shows planned and stuff like that. And once we get a few backers, I have some goodies they start giving away once we hit that once we get physical backers, because like Mike said, I'd give away the kitchen sink if Mike would have let me, but they have to be physical backers to get some of these goodies I got coming. So you got to keep an eye out for that.
So you're launching this Friday. Are you doing anything for the sign up page? I know some campaigns do some kind of bonus for the people that signed up ahead of time for the book?
No, my bonus is if you are a backer, then you have an opportunity, if you catch us on a program that we're on, to get some goodies. I have scratch and sniff stickers that I'm giving away and one is a Brink sock and one is a Fetch sock. They each have their own smell, and I'm going to be giving those away to physical backers. So that is your yay for, and there might be something else. I'd like to talk Mike into a lot more, but he's like, it's our first one, honey. Let's not give it everything away on the first
It's
one.
like slow the roll.
Right. And that's Mike and Chuck will tell you, I have stretch goal thoughts for books 9 and 10 down the road. You know what I mean? I'm like, and I want to do this and I want to do that and let's do this. And they're like, whoa, Trish, whoa. And I mean, that's honestly, they're like, this is your first campaign. And that's why we didn't want to do any hollow foils or any of the metal covers on our first one. They're like, it is really extremely hard. And if you damage any of them, the reshipping of them, the cost of them. So I'm like, okay. So I listened to a lot of advice. I mean, I love Chuck for everything he did, because like 12 hours of this is what you guys should do, and all the advice, and Wendy Steen Shaynard, 4 hours talking about stretch gold stuff because she gives so much out for her Naughty Fairy campaigns. Mark May, Dustin, you know, with his all these people that I have met watching on the podcast and have become actual friends with. Many hours of listening to this is what you should do, and keep your covers to this many, and you know, why don't you have 78 like Jim Noble? Well, we don't need 78, not for our first issue. So I took a lot of people's advice, and you know what I mean?
Not for nothing, nobody needs 78 covers. I don't give a crap what Jim Noble says. Nobody needs 78 covers.
Well, we have 5. So, and we have some of the best independent artists in the indie world, you know, or currently, however you want to say it, you know, I mean, working on our project, which I'm very grateful for them. And
some popular peeps.
Yeah. During this whole thing, they have not just been our team, they have been our friends. They would call and write when I was in the hospital, you know, having my spinal surgery, you know, how are you and Mike doing, Trish? You know, whatever you guys need, we're here. And, you know, they're not just our team, they're our friends, they're our family. And that meant so much more to me. And that's why, like, being on certain shows, I mean, I want to push my team because they're my friends. Yes, I want to push our book too, but I want to push how much these people are real people in real life, not just Chuck's not just an editor. He is a great guy that we spent New Year's Eve with, and, you know, 12 hours a day. Steph and Carrie are amazing people to talk to. Chris Matt, hours on end, you know, well, let's do it this way. What about this cover? I mean, honestly, Chris did one cover and he's like, you know, I'm not quite happy with it. I want to go a different direction. What about this direction? And that's the cover we went with. And I mean, I want to push our friends as much as they're pushing for us to succeed in this industry.
Oh, for sure. Now,
call me a sap if you want, but that's me. Okay, Mike's back, so hold on a second. We'll be right back so he can sit with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really more worried about you moving around than me.
Mike's sorry.
No, the mic's fine. They like to hear us talk.
Yeah, it's
they
fun.
love to hear us squabble. 23 years together, we're not too bad.
It's fun.
Yeah, we've been together 23 years, so we know each other pretty well.
And she hasn't killed you yet. What do you know?
Well, it's not without trying, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm durable.
A couple of failed attempts. Who cares?
I only try while he's sleeping.
That's the ass punches. I know.
You know, when you wake up with that sore back leg muscle. Mike says I punch him in the butt at night, and I'm like, I promise you, I don't.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Let's hope it's just punching.
I don't. Could be a knee drop or something. You might be a professional wrestler. I woke up pretty sore.
Well, it happens.
So speaking about our team, I felt so bad because David Fott, who did 2 covers for us, he's been in the hospital with COVID, and then
But that's
cancer.
his business.
Right, it's his business to tell. I felt so bad though. The day I was going up to the hospital, they moved him hospitals, and I was like, oh, I was that close to actually meeting him and talking to him in real life instead of, you know what I mean, just over telephone and over video chat.
Yeah, but we will meet him. I mean, we literally live 1 state away.
Yep.
So.
Well, we live 1 state away from Chuck too, so.
And we will meet him. I mean.
Yep. That's our thing. We like doing cons, so hopefully we get to meet our people in real life.
I live 1 state away from confusion.
Yeah, I was gonna say you live a couple states away from us. I mean, that's a lot harder to think.
I'm in the same state as Steph, but well, not state of mind, just actual state. And I still haven't run into him at like all the cons I went to prior to COVID. So
well, I don't think he did a lot of cons back in the day. I mean, he's done a few recently. So if you get out and start doing cons again, you probably will run into him.
No, I think he said that he started mostly on eBay.
Steph did, yeah.
Yeah. Most of his artwork was just on eBay, and just as of recently, the last year or 2, he's been hitting cons really.
Yep.
Yeah, the last one I went to was 2019.
We went to a con. We were at a con February 28th, 2019. And it was kind of weird for me because I got to meet Mike Golden, who drew the first, Rogue. And he wasn't shaking hands because he was worried about the virus that was going around. And I was like, well, that's kind of odd. And we met C. Thomas Howell, and we met the guy that played the Flash in the 90s, whose name's skipping my brain.
John Wesley Shipp.
Right. Yeah, and we got pictures with them and, the meet and greet and everything. So, COVID hadn't really racked everybody with it because, I mean, they were still hanging out, talking. We got a picture with, his arm around me and Trish. But yeah, Mike Golden was worried about the virus that was going around. And like the day after that con is when they started to shut down airports and stuff, March 1st. COVID was finally, being recognized as being horrible. So that was like the last con for us, basically before COVID.
And then we went to one in November here, and it was kind of a shocking thing. We got to sit with Sam Della Rose, and he's sitting there eating tacos and Venom, and we talked like a half an hour with him. And all these other kids are all just flocking to go talk to the voice actors of all these animes. And
that's not shocking.
To me, it was shocking. I'm like, this is Venom. This is the drawer of Venom, and you guys are just.
But they don't care.
What you're wrong is this is a drawer of Venom. He's not Todd McFarlane.
No, but I'm just saying he's top tier.
He is top tier,
and he is such a nice guy. And I'm just like, wow, all these kids
would
rather meet a voice actor than.
But yeah, that's just it. All them kids are like, this is the voice actor that did 300 voices. What are you doing over there? It's the point of view. Everybody's different. I mean, Tori would have been at the voice actors.
Right. Our daughter would have been at the voice actors. That's true. But I'm just like, but she also, hey, I know that guy too. You know what I mean? Because we raised our kid right. No, I'm just kidding.
There is zero chance that Tori knows who who he is. She would have recognized it because the artwork around him.
Right.
Right. She knows who Venom is. But yeah, she doesn't follow artists and stuff like that. But she does follow voice actors. She has an entire list of favorites for voice actors, and she has, books signed by them. And I'm just like, but
they had nothing to do with the creation of this project that you like so much.
Well, yeah, and that's, but everybody's got their own little flavor for it. I went to San Diego Comic-Con in the 90s, and it was still pretty much a Comic-Con back then. And I went like maybe 2008. We went to San Diego Comic-Con, and it was mostly about the celebrities then. Your big thing was, meeting the celebrities or seeing panels with the celebrities, and comics were kind of like a thing there, but it was a far lesser thing. There was a big con floor with comics, but it's a ton about celebrities nowadays. We've been to a couple fan expos in Dallas, and your big ticket things are the celebrities. Meet Tom Welling. He was on Smallville.
Jason Momoa was there. Ben
Jeff
Affleck,
Goldblum,
Jeff
yeah.
Goldblum, yeah.
So they're great people, but it's a celebrity con now. It's not really a comic con no more. Well, it's fan expo, so
it's for the fans.
Yeah, it's no longer even like they're pretending it's a comic con.
No, it's not. They're not. They should just rename them to pop culture conventions, because that's what they are.
Well, yeah, but it's still good because they had artist alleys in there, and they were great. There were a lot of amazing people.
I don't know how many times we've met Jimmy, or what's his name, Tinsdale. What's his name?
Jamie Tinsdale.
Jamie, yeah, we've met him several times, and he's a super nice guy, and spent many a times talking to him.
Well, yeah, but he does that con. And he's probably somewhere around here, I would guess.
Yeah.
And that works out great for us. He probably doesn't make it to New York as often, or California, because we're in the middle of the United States. But, everybody's got the people that they're going to meet. Will here, because the part of the country he's in is closer to Zindascope than us. He could easily meet the Zindascope people.
But have no interest in it.
Well, everybody, picks and chooses what they want. We read a lot of Zindascope for a while, but we kind of drifted away from it.
They've got gorgeous covers and stuff, but I'm like, no, it's all the it's all the eye candy stuff, and I'm like, I like eye candy, but I'm not going to give you money for it.
I thought their Wonderland storyline was pretty good. The eye candy covers, fine, but I'm gonna whenever I back a project, I am probably gonna pick my favorite cover, and I'm gonna get that. But I really want to read the story. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm in it for. I'll end up getting a second cover for some reason, or Trish will want a cover that's different than the one I want. Trish usually wants the cover more than anything else, but since most of the books are going to go in a box, buying just for a cover to stick in a box doesn't help us much. And Trish knows it. It took a while, but Trish realizes that unless we're going to put the comic out on display, which we can only display so many comics in our house.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm grateful Steph and Carrie Ann are now doing their books that have a bunch of their covers, because I used to try to get every Steph cover I could, and now it's just easier once they do their portfolio that comes out every few months now. It's way easier than trying to catch every cover from every book he's on.
Yeah, so he puts out the art book with all the covers, and
yes, that's our newest one we got today from Tom.
This is an Oz from Big Dog Inc. And it's a nice cover. And
I like that one. It's black and white, no color, but it's so amazing.
It's like
the
an
line work.
artist cover. I guess now this has sort of become an unboxing video because I unboxed this just before the.
Yeah,
Oh.
we unboxed it really before.
Oh.
Our unboxing of Tom Hutchinson's Oz.
Nope, that's it. I mean, there's some stretch goals. There's a pack of those too, but everything has
Stretch goals.
tons of little stretch goals.
Yeah.
I mean, but that Kickstarter made like 30,000+.
That Kickstarter made money.
Yep.
That's all we care about. Tom has a Kickstarter the day after ours.
Yeah. Yep. He's launching his critter doll, his critter figures, excuse me.
It's an action figure.
Yes, his critter figure.
Toys, wonderful toys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm pretty excited. I mean, if he can get the figures out, I mean that'll be a huge thing. I mean, he's an independent creator,
and having your own figure.
And I know that like Lady Death has put out some figures, but
Yeah, I got one over there.
But I mean, most books, I mean, it's a huge deal to actually be able to put a figure into fans' hands. I mean, I know from talking to people that you can like have a figure done of your own character. Like you pay them so much money and they do what they can to make it look like your character. But, to be able to mass produce it and sell it, I mean, I'm really hopeful for him.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of campaigns like that. Like I've got the it's way over there. I think it's like the 14-inch Lady Death from way back during the Chaos Comics era.
Yeah, Chaos Comics is great.
And I got a bunch of the other Chaos figures too. But yeah, I've got like odd stuff. I've got like the talking 18-inch Crow. I've got the Empire Hunter D, like an 18-inch figure of that.
Tell Will what figure you have from when you were a kid still.
Oh, I have the great big Godzilla from 100,000 years ago.
Everything with this guy is 100,000 years ago.
It feels like 100,000 years. That's mostly how it is.
Is it the one where you push the tongue out of his mouth?
Yes.
Oh, that's a very sought after piece.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of dinged up because it was a toy from I got it on my 10th birthday.
So it's been well loved.
Yeah, it's well loved. There's no box for it because that's long gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the fist no longer shoots off, which I never quite understood anyway. But Godzilla wasn't meant to have a shooting fist. But
no, that was Mecha Godzilla.
And yeah, I used to have some of the Shogun Warriors too. So Godzilla could fight things, but I don't have those no more. And now
I had Mazinga Z. I really wanted Raiden for some weird reason.
I had Raiden. I had Raiden, and I had the one that had like 5 points out of his head.
Space Dragon, yeah.
Yeah. And I had one more, but I don't really remember because that's so many years ago. And when my parents got divorced, I didn't get all of my toys, so I kind of lost the Shogun Warriors then.
Well, my mother was selling the house, and we were moving into the trailer park. I went to school one day, I came home, and all my toys were gone.
Oh no.
There was a little boy and his mother. The father decided he wanted nothing to do with them anymore. But in his last act, while they were out at church, packed up everything in the house: clothes, toys, furnitures, TVs, everything, and took it. So they were left around Christmas time with nothing, and everybody, donated a whole bunch of stuff to them, and gave her like quite a bit of money so they could take her out and go buy new clothes and stuff. And my mother said, "Well, we can't take all his toys with us to the trailer park, and it'll be a year and a half for him to decide what he's actually taking." So she boxed everything up, and this little 5-year-old probably had the best Christmas of his life. All my Migos, all my Army men and aircraft carriers, original G.I. Joes when G.I. was just some guy named Joe, and my Shogun Warriors, and everything in between.
Wow.
From the early 70s through the 90s was all gone.
That's almost as bad as what happened to me. My brother took all my He-Man, because I'm a few years younger than you guys, but took my He-Man figures and my Thundercat figures, put them in a lunchbox, and buried them out in like a mile long field somewhere, and forgot where he buried them. And he's like, "Sorry, sis." And I'm like, "Really? You cannot figure out where my figures are?" So somewhere in that field is a box of, my He-Man and Thundercats figures from when I was a kid, because my brother was mad at me.
So my mother didn't know the difference between any of the ships in Star Wars. So she thought she saved the Millennium Falcon for me, and instead she saved my broken snowspeeder, which I have since blown up into a million pieces and thrown in the garbage.
Wow. That is so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that.
I even tried putting it online to sell as a battle damaged snowspeeder. And do you still have the box? Do you have all the pieces? I'm like, do you understand the phrase battle damaged? Yes, apparently you don't. I turned into Jerry Seinfeld on this guy for like 3 weeks. It just got to be my daily troll, and I just enjoyed myself for a while. But I have gone back, and I have inherited some stuff from a very good friend of mine who, when they were moving, didn't want to take a whole bunch of stuff out of their attic with them. So he's like, "You love all this stuff. I'm going to give it to you." I go, "All of it?" He goes, "Well, not the Star Trek phaser game." And it was like the big box one that didn't really do anything, but it made a lot of noise. He goes, "Nope, I'm going to keep that. And if we have annoying neighbors, I will put it on like I'm playing it, but I won't be." I'm like, okay. He gave me his Mego Batmobile and Batcycle, and of course the Batcycle's broken because that one little pin in between the sidecar and the cycle always snapped.
Actually, that is I was watching another podcast sometime, and it's a 3D. He makes like replacement figures for different things, and he says that like most of the Star Wars stuff is like always on his top. Can you replace this one little piece?
Oh yeah. I'm sure most of the stuff that he replaces is, stormtrooper guns. I know a lot of people are getting into the 3D printing because you can buy the 3D. You can buy a good, like entry level 3D printer for like $180. and then they buy the files, and they just print up a bunch of stuff. I was talking to a creator one day, and he panned the camera. He had printed up because he was a huge Turtles fan. You can never have enough foot soldiers. So he had printed up, like in the last month, like 150 foot soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah, you shouldn't let that power get into people's hands. No.
I know a lot of people that are actually using that power for good, where they're using it to make figures for their campaigns.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking if I could just print out the miniatures for every Pathfinder game I ran or whatever, like there's going to be 50 goblins. I'm just going to print up 50 goblins so they can all be on the map at the same time.
Instead of using a dice for each gobbion.
Yeah, I'm like, by the end of just one year of campaigning, I would have so many figures. Just I'd need a new garage.
They're a lot of fun to make when they're small like that.
Yeah.
Oh, now Mike's saying we're getting a 3D printer.
We're not.
I got to learn how to do that. It took me like 2 or 3 months to learn how to use a Cricut. I don't know how long it's going to take me to use a 3D printer.
We can't get a 3D printer because you'd want to send stretch goals that are printed like that, and it would end up we'd spend $15,000 to earn $3,000
because of shipping. Shipping is so crazy.
Shipping is rough, but I mean.
So let me ask you: is there going to be a digital tier?
There is a digital tier.
I have over like the last year, I have started referring to the digital tier as the Australian variant, and I will keep doing so because I know from a couple of people that it costs about $65 or $70 to ship one book to Australia right now.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, especially if somebody gets to watch this, I limited all the shipping to just in the United States, and it kind of breaks my heart because
we have Mike Jimmy, we have
people.
Yeah,
and you don't
Rich,
have to name names. You don't have to put names to everything. I mean, just we have people outside of the United States that we like, but I can't guarantee their shipping. It seems from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so if I tell people that I can ship it to them, and then like they shut down all shipping to Australia for a while.
Yeah.
And then people get mad and they complain, but I mean, it's absolutely shut down. And then they change the prices of shipping. So if we agree, like, well, it costs $20 to ship it here, and then they move it to $45, I don't know where to come up with that extra $25. So I limited all of the products to the United States, well, except the digital tier, because
right.
It's
but
the
Mike,
Australian variant.
But like Mike included shipping in our prices.
Well, yeah, that way you don't have to.
You don't have to worry about shipping costs or anything like that. It's already calculated in there.
See, that's a bonus where it's like, here's how much the book is, and it's basically free shipping because we included it in the price.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's far easier on me because I'll go to back a campaign sometimes. I'll be like, Trish, do you care if I back this campaign? Trish say, I don't care what you back. And I'm like, well, $20. I'm like, okay. And she'll go back to doing whatever she's doing, and then I'll press that I'm going to back it, and then they'll tack on like $10 shipping or $20 shipping.
Yeah, $10 or $20 shipping, and we get some of these packages, and I'm like, how can you do that to these people? We're trying to support you, and it's.
Well, I mean, some packages are amazingly packaged.
Oh yeah, but then we get like, some that are like what?
Like $10 shipping, you can see because it's going to cost you $10 to ship out. a book plus like whatever extras they're giving you. But $30 for a book that's being produced in the U.S.
Well, yeah, and shipping is probably the number one thing that just makes me go, what? I tried to tack a few things onto an order one time. I was watching a show. He was talking about stickers or something, and I was like, oh, well, that sounds good. And then when I added them on, going through the whole Kickstarter thing, it's like that will be an extra $4 shipping. I'm like, I'm getting 2 stickers with my book.
2 stickers for $3 with the book, and now you're going to add an extra $4 on, so it makes the stickers $7. I was like, are you sure you want those stickers, Mike?
Yeah, so I just didn't get those stickers. I was just like, well.
I mean, and stickers don't weigh nothing. That's why first campaign, everybody's like, do stickers, Trish, do stickers, so you're not adding extra weight on.
Well, stickers go right in the bag with the book.
Right. Easy peasy.
If you did buttons, they're a little more difficult. And if you do,
because everybody knows I love to make buttons, but on the first one, I was like, no, I'm going to hold off on doing buttons.
We're going to do a mini print. We're going to do a number of stickers, and they will all easily go into the bag with the book.
Right.
We will probably have
I like it when they do when the prints are like A4 size, so like they're the same size as your book.
Yeah, the print needs to be a little smaller than your book so that it fits easily into the bag.
But like right about that size, yes.
Right about, yeah, but I mean just a little bit smaller. You don't want it to be tight in there. Of course, it also depends on what size of bag you use. The Silver Age bags will fit them easier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we've taken up about 2 hours of your time, my friend.
Yeah, we have, but it's been fun hanging out.
I love hanging out with you. You know that. I'm always in your chat just chiming away.
It's kind of funny because I've got my camera tilted, so I look I look like I'm almost in the scene from the Batman 66 because everything was on an angle.
We have to learn to tilt ours more, but it's on the top of Mike's computer. Mm-hmm. And so but if I tilt it too much, I'm scared that it's going to bring the whole computer forward. We need to get a mount.
Yeah, this happened because I went to go move something and I whacked my camera and tripod off the table. So this is just how it came back from its James Bond-like death over the cliff.
Well, we also have tablets and phones. I mean, we could stream from another device and set it up on a stand, but I mean this works.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It shows Trish, and I'm right over here, and that's good.
So I do have a question for you, Will.
Sure.
Okay, so because you didn't watch all of Jupiter's Legacy, basically
wait.
No, I'm not spoiling nothing. The question is how far does a supervillain have to go before, if you're a superhero, you are willing to end their life? Or are you so pure or so good that there's no matter, you're Batman, you're going to throw Joker in jail in Arkham a billion times?
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
How far is the United States justice system go before they say you're a murderer if you murder somebody? Oh, it's the first one you murder. Doesn't matter how it starts out. You murdered.
But depending on what state you live in, you may not get the death penalty.
There is absolutely no state that doesn't give you life in prison for the first time you murder somebody.
And then those are overturned, or you only serve 15 years for killing somebody, or
yeah. But do you want to serve 15 years every time you kill a villain?
But I'm just saying. I was asking Will the question.
Okay.
So I would be a good superhero. I would be the Punisher.
Would you?
But I would be the Punisher. But I would be more like the character from Shooter, so I could take somebody out from like a mile and a half away.
Well, wait. Trish's question is actually, you have all the powers of Superman. You could choose to be the Punisher with all the powers of Superman, except for the fact that if they actually get on you, your skin is steel hard. You're still got all the powers of Superman. You are a god among men. That's the basis of the question. You are above them. You could choose to use a rifle, but really, I mean, you're Superman choosing to use that rifle. And you have telescopic vision, so you don't even need the scope. You could use it. You could pretend.
So I could just execute people from orbit.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
you
if you
could,
want it-
you could
if you wanted
execute from
to.
orbit.
So would just one death before you kill the guy? Would it be multiple deaths? Would you give him multiple chances? What would Will do? Will the superhero?
No. Will the super. It's not
Yes.
hero.
Yeah, the super. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I would be
hero. I won't say you're a hero or a villain, but I'll just say you're a super.
Okay, so I'm a Kryptonian.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw that up there. I would be evil as fuck.
So your question now is, Will as the supervillain?
How many people are you killing before you hope they stop you?
I don't know, Congress?
No, it was just at we have weird family discussions, and that was brought up yesterday at dinner. Is where would you draw the line?
It would depend on what the circumstances were.
Would it be one person? Would it be a whole country, a whole continent?
It doesn't matter if it's one person or the whole country. When you slaughter one person on TV, you're a villain in the eyes of the world. Even, I mean, it would be unlikely if Batman were real and he killed the Joker on TV in, the center of Gotham, that people still wouldn't, at least a chunk of people hate him for being a killer.
Right.
So, I mean...
Right. That's ultimately what it comes down to, too, then. But it's like, if you don't care and you're the bad guy, it doesn't matter. But I just didn't know where you would draw the line.
But, would I kill somebody that was defending their family? No.
So, random guy steals bread from the grocery store and kills the clerk to get out of there. Does he die?
Yeah, because it was a loaf of bread. I'm like, you could have kept going. You didn't have to stop for the clerk. You could have made the door. Or you could have moved to California where they are more than happy to let you rob the entire store on your bicycles with Glad bags and
Oh, I know. Are going to those stores that no longer have clerks in there out in California, and it's supposed to you're supposed to be honest and register everything that goes out of the store. Have you heard about those ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even out here, they even at the Walmarts out here, they have replaced 70% of their cashiers with self-checkouts.
We have 4 cashiers left in the 20 lane, and I live in Walmart country.
If I have to do your job, somebody's getting a discount. I would rather wait in a line for an hour to go through where the cashier is, and they're like, well, you could just, the self-checkout's open. I go, really? I'm going to give you more excuses to put people out of work or to make me do your job. You don't do anything. The head cashier, at these stores, just walks around and will if there's a problem with the merchandise, they'll go in, they'll see what it is, they'll key it out for you, and then they walk away and they just sit there and they look and they look and they look and they try to direct people to self checkout, and I'm like, no, they're getting paid to do a job that I don't want to do.
They just released, I think last month, the automated driving systems for Walmart. They've been driving around town that will deliver the groceries to your house. They're all automated.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
There's no actual driver in them. They come to your house. You get a text message. They're out there, and then you go out to the thing and you pick up your groceries and you come into your house.
I don't think that's gonna really fly over because people aren't going to go out there and just take their groceries out and it work out perfectly fine. I don't think we're a ways away from that kind of.
But they're testing it right
now. They're hopeful, but
right.
I think Mike is underestimating the laziness of Americans in this day and age.
No. I'm depending on the laziness of Americans to want it brought to the door at least. I don't think they're just gonna. We pulled up in the rain, come get your groceries. And people are going to be like, all right, come to save the day. No, I don't think they're going to do that. They're at the very least going to want a driver there to bring it to the door really, they'd like it if they just bring it in and put it away. But they haven't been able to.
I had somebody give me, when I first got out of the hospital in my old apartment, good buddy of mine and his wife gave me a card with a whole bunch of money on it to do like a Stop and Shop Peapod order. And they brought the stuff in. I go, I'm crippled. My legs were in a million times worse shape than they are now. I couldn't really stand up on my own. And they're like, where do you want us to put this? I go, you put it away, don't you? They're like, oh no, we're not allowed to do that. What about the frozen stuff? I go, I have to wait like another 3 hours before somebody is here to help me with this stuff. It's like, well, I can put it in the sink. Like, oh yeah, great, thanks.
I shouldn't laugh. That's awful, but yeah.
They don't want to work for any kind of extra money or anything like that. Look at that girl. I asked her, I just had back surgery, so we ordered groceries, and I asked her, I'm like, can you just bring it in the door? And she's like, no, I can't come into your house. And I'm like, I'm just asking you to set it inside the door. Inside the door. My husband will come get it. You just got to give him a couple minutes. Can you set it inside the door? No, I can leave it out here by the front door. And I'm like,
well, yeah, but this new Walmart system's going to be, I pulled up in front of your house. I'm in the road. You need to get all this stuff out of the automated vehicle before it causes problems. I don't think that's going to really work. I think people are too lazy to just spring into action and make that a viable system. You might be able to deliver a pizza that way.
Oh, I want the helicopter to deliver a pizza. Do you know we have that? Where the little flyy thing, it delivers too. We have that.
Yeah, but
the little flyy thing.
They have drones.
The drones that deliver to, because we live near the Ozark Mountains, and there's people that live in the mountains, and so they have a delivery service for them. That's with the drones.
They won't deliver the mountains.
Well, it's up on the mountain edges, in Bella Vista.
Oh, your bill would be like $1,000.
No, it has to be under 5 pounds.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of money just to get it to them and to guarantee.
But that's what they're testing now too with those automated.
Well, they can test it, but it's going to be the how can we make money on it? They have specific things that we don't deliver outside this currently with vehicles.
Right, but a gallon of milk in the winter and you live up in the mountains, that's what they're working on right now.
Yeah, I know, but if you buy a gallon of milk for say $3, and
and it's $15 delivery charge.
It might be, but that would be cheap, I would think, to deliver it up to a mountain.
Well, I'm not talking Mount Everest, Mike.
I don't think we have Mount Everest by us.
No, but it's up in the mountains where like the roads you can't get up.
But to fly a drone for 20 miles is going to be pricey.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
Well, they're not the drones you can buy in a toy store.
No, these are bigger because we seen them where I work at. They had them out there, and they're like 3 foot across, kind of sort of the dimensions. It's like 3 foot, 3 foot. They go up, and right now the most they can lift, I think, is like 5 to 8 pounds, something like that.
Oh no!
I saw them. I saw them using the drones for delivery in California for weed.
Yep. So yeah, it's just gonna be a newfangled thing. Soon we're gonna be the Jetsons. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that briefcase car. Yeah, I'm like, Musk, where are you on the briefcase car? We don't need these electric cars that are going to cause more problems and are going to be more expensive in the long run than anything else. We want the fold-uppy briefcase car from the Jetsons. That's it.
I totally agree with you. I want a rickshaw actually for me and Mike because neither one of us drives.
Who's going to pull it?
Yeah, who's going?
Oh wait, you got kids.
No, well, we got kids, but our kids wouldn't do that. But we could take turns. Like one of us could like ride over to the store, which is only like 3 blocks from our house, and then somebody else take flip turns.
Trish, we could not possibly rickshaw each other around. You just had back surgery.
Well, no, I'm
30
not
days
talking.
ago.
I'm not talking like right at this very second, but down the road, I'd love to get us rickshaws.
Well, but down the road, then you just get bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And we would take bikes, not.
But rickshaw sounds so much cooler, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I got rickshawed around town today.
They have.
Yeah, but
they have those little trailer things, so you can bring your small children with you, and you just pull them on the thing behind. You just need a larger one of those for Trish to sit in as you ride your bicycle around town, Mike.
Well, see, I already have the granny. I have the granny bike already.
No,
I got the 3-wheel granny bike with the big huge basket. I already have that one. That's why I'm like, I want a rickshaw.
See, you guys are both totally off. You think being rickshawed is great. I think it's impractical. But I'm willing to let you rickshaw me all over the place. Like we can go the 40 miles down to get my comic books with you rickshawing me down the highway. But it's neat to be rickshawed. It's not neat to I was driving the rickshaw all day.
You sure you don't want to take me to work every day in the rickshaw?
No. But I'm willing to let you rickshaw me to your job with you. And I'll just hang out there and you can rickshaw me home. But
after 8 hours of working.
But the difference between, we got bikes and we went biking and I rickshawed your booty around the city is huge. Just like that guy worked in San Diego when we were rickshawed.
Yeah, we gave that guy a $20 tip that rickshawed me and Mike because we got on it and we're like, we're big because we're not small folk by any means. And he's like, no, I can handle both of you guys. And we're like, what? And he pedaled us from the hotel to the con out in San Diego. And I was like,
whoa, that's his job. I'm sure he's good at his job. But as a practical thing, like every day we wake up and you're like, I'm going to rickshaw Mike down to Vintage Stock. It should be about a 3-hour trip. You're only going to do that a couple of times before you retire the rickshaw.
And then I sell it to Will.
I would see the rickshaw being abandoned on the side of the road as you both just walk back home.
Well, that's why I'm thinking, we might get bikes, but, a rickshaw is neat, like as a novelty, but it's not a practical, like everywhere we go, we rickshaw each other.
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime ride in a rickshaw. You're like, okay,
I've been
good.
trying to get you to carry me up the stairs to bed for like 20 some years. You haven't done it yet. Now you're talking, you're going to rickshaw me everywhere? I'm like, this is amazing.
A rickshaw in California is kind of like a hansom cab in New York City.
What's that? We've never been to. Well, I've never been to New York City.
It's a really big rickshaw pulled by a horse.
Oh well, we've been on horse-drawn carriages when we went to
Gen Con.
Gen Con. When we went to Gen Con, there we went on the horse-drawn carriages there, and it was really nice.
Well, when my daughter was young, we went to a place that was having Bass Pro Shops, so she could see Santa, and they had a horse-drawn like sleigh ride, but it was a wagon. So you'd go up like the little steps in the back and go sit in the wagon. It was drawn by a couple of Clydesdales.
Oh wow!
And they must have just eaten.
Oh.
There were a couple of DNA samples left during the ride, and one of the horses had tremendous gas.
Oh wow! That was, and see, we have kids too. So when we're taking the horse ride, there are girls they're like amused at not the scenery and not the horse ride, at the big huge bag behind the horse's butt collecting the poo poo. You know, there's a lot of poo. What do you do with it? I'm like, oh my gosh, these are my kids.
We sell it to the farm for manure.
Well, she's like, she was really nice about it, the lady giving us, but I was like so embarrassed. And she's like, you don't have to be embarrassed. I get that all the time.
That happens all the time.
Well, we sat up kind of like towards the front. There were only like two people in front of us. And you didn't hear the horse fart, but you smelled it.
Oh.
And my darling 5-year-old daughter yelled, "Daddy, you farted." And I'm like, that was the horse. And I get one of these. And I'm looking around, I go, it was the damn horse. I swear.
That's okay. I got my girls back when we went to go see Deadpool. And because they're like, Mom, you got to be kind of, there's some exciting stuff. And I get over animated. Anybody that knows me knows I'm super animated.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, we're watching Deadpool, the first one. I'm like, holy shit, they shot him in the ass right away. Is like, they're like, Mom, shh, we're in the movies. I was like, well, I didn't expect him to get shot in the butt right away.
That was a very good one. And I really liked the Deadpool game for PlayStation.
Our daughter played it. We didn't play it.
It was pretty hilarious.
She seemed to enjoy it a lot.
That and the Spider-Man they really enjoyed too, with Miles Morales, the Spider-Man one with him. No, that's not the one.
It's with Peter.
Oh, it's with Peter? I
Yeah.
thought it was with Morales. Oh, okay.
I think he might make an appearance in the game, but I mean, the character is Peter because we have it.
No.
They bought it for me too.
I liked the old Spider-Man game
From the Atari?
Not for the Atari. No, not the Bug Go Splat game. I think like the first PlayStation and Nintendo had it, and the tutorial was done by Bruce.
Oh wow.
Campbell. So if you ever wanted to be insulted by Bruce Campbell, just search for the Spider-Man game with that he does the voiceover for the tutorial. I would just keep dying in the tutorial because I couldn't. I'm not coordinated, and I would just sit there getting insulted with him and just laughing hysterically, as my mother would practically throw a slipper at my head to tell me to turn that garbage off.
Well, see, that's me too. I am not like I will watch Mike play like the Resident Evil games, but it messes with my head that it's upside down and left and right and all the buttons. You know, give me some Crash Bandicoot and let me drive that car around where I only got to push like a couple buttons. I that's more my speed than you know.
You like driving games more than action games.
Yeah, that's true too. Unless it's RPG games.
RPG is not action.
Right.
I mean, it's a different thing.
Right, but that's what I prefer would be RPG over.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
RPG, driving, and then anything else.
It's a different kind of action. It's a little slower.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I still love that we played Champions of Norrath and you know, it just, yeah, those games are very.
And now have to play through to get all the equipment the kids sold off on you all over again?
No, we'll probably never do that.
No, because it was so harsh. It was like, oh my gosh, why did you sell that? What? We didn't have no money.
What? No.
Well, you go out and you fight stuff for money.
But they were literally lying. I mean, there was like thousands and thousands of gold on the characters. I mean, they did it because they're dumb little kids back then.
Yeah.
So I mean, they made excuses just like you make excuses, and I'm just like, oh, what the world? That doesn't even make sense. And then we just move on.
You know, but you know, here's the crazy thing: as much as we give the girls garbage, you know, our girls, our youngest, she comes over every Tuesday. We go out to dinner, we have family movie night or whatever. We watched Encanto, you know what I mean? And she's like, "I'll see you guys next Tuesday." Our oldest calls us all the time. She's up in Iowa near Chicago, and she's
in Iowa.
She's in Iowa,
not Chicago.
No, but in Iowa, going towards that way. But anyways, she
is closer to Chicago than Arkansas. But she is in Iowa, which is not in Illinois.
It's like 2.5 hours away from Chicago.
But that's not by Chicago. That's 2.5. I'm 2.5 hours away from Kansas City. I'm not in Kansas City.
But anyway, she's a youth girl. She teaches at a youth. What does she do there? She's a guidance counselor at a youth facility. But anyways, she calls us like every other day just to check on us and be like, "How are you doing, Mom and Dad?"
Hey, Will, out this back door is Dallas. And if you can look over here to my right,
it's only 7 hours away.
It's Kansas City,
which is 4 hours away.
And over here to my left is somewhere in Memphis.
That's Tulsa is that way, baby. And
this
that
could easily be Memphis because you have no sense of direction.
Well, I'm just north of Florida too, so
because you literally got done telling him she lives in Iowa by Chicago, which is in another state, across the state.
Right, but it's up that way going towards Chicago, which is a bigger state than saying she lives in Davenport, Iowa.
Which is good because she lives in Davenport, Iowa. That's actually accurate.
But nobody knows where Davenport, Iowa is. People know where Chicago is.
People know where Davenport, Iowa is. It's in Iowa. That's an important thing here.
Really? Okay.
We don't live in Dallas.
We live close enough.
Yeah, 6 hours away.
I know. I'm always joking with Max from Mary Machine Gun. I'm like, yeah, I just live down the road. You know, it's only like 3 hours, but I just live down the road.
Up the road a piece.
Yeah, up the road a piece. See, that's the way I look at it. It's just up the road a little bit.
And since you mentioned it, we will have our brief appearance of Miles Morales.
Hey.
There we go. That's about how long he appeared in the game for, too, I guess.
Yeah, that could be, but you know.
Oh.
Who knows?
But anyways, we're good parents. Our girl, my story basically comes down to they call and check on us all the time. So, and they're always, "What are you doing, Mom and Dad?"
It almost the way Trish talks around in circles. All I can picture in the back of my head was a certain comedic actor just saying, "But did you die?"
No, being their mom, I did not die. Being their mother. I wanted to kill them a few times, but nah.
You never wanted to kill them.
No, I just let you be the disciplinarian.
Well, you got lucky there.
So Mike is a little more harsh than me, just a touch. So our daughter, the other day, I was at the store and she loves York peppermint patties, and I bought a bunch for her, and Mike is like, "Oh, I got you a candy," and he gives her some of his peanut M&Ms, and he gives her one package. I'm like, "Look what I got," and Mike's like, "Why would you do that?"
So you took and fed her as many York peppermint patties as she could eat, and
before we go out to dinner,
and she's dumb. So she ate a bunch of them until she was feeling sick. But you knew we were going out to eat. So we all went out to eat. She's like, "I really don't want anything because my stomach's upset." And you're like, "But you got to eat." And she did. She ate York peppermint patties until she was sick. So Mike's not mean.
No,
I gave her candy, and then she could go out and eat. And if we wanted to have more candy later, I still have candy. You gave her so much candy she got sick. You're the mean one in this situation. You could have gave her York peppermint patties when we came home after she had real food.
Will, do you want some York peppermint patties?
If he stops down, he gets a York peppermint patty. We're not sending a York peppermint patty through the mail.
It'll be $19.
Here's your 30-cent candy, and it took $19 postage. No.
Mm-hmm. Instead of that, just every time you see a newspaper with a coupon for York peppermint patty, say, "I was thinking of you. Here, feel the sensation, and go to your local store and buy some."
Just send gifts of York peppermint patties to people. It's less fattening. It's just about as good. They're not a very good candy, actually. You're all right.
There are no Reese's peanut butter cups or Three Musketeers.
No, they're not. They're not a Three Musketeers or a Reese's peanut butter cup. We have those, but those are not York peppermint patties.
No, we have those too. Just
yeah, we
FYI.
are spoiled. But what does that matter? He's unlikely to stop down tonight.
You never know. He could have been the whole time on his way here, right?
That's like a ship of some sort that we're seeing.
He said that they used to dock on like behind his house and drop stuff off.
He said a boat.
Right, he can jump on the boat
In the 1800s.
Down up through the Mississippi, Missouri River, whatever side we're near, and be here in 3 days.
So
can't you tell everything's on an angle here? This is my TARDIS.
It's always bigger on the inside.
So he'll arrive like 2.5 days after the offer expires.
Well, wave at him.
Tonight. It's one night.
Oh,
that's what I said. Will. If you stop down tonight, not like if
he can get here.
I'll be looking through the door, and Mike will come to the door and just be like, "It's too late. She already ate all the York peppermint patties."
What in the world is he coming here for?
Because we're awesome.
Because I was going to hobble up.
Awesome.
I was going to hobble up the stairs to recount the boxes.
He can go to the end of my Kickstarter campaign and find out if it funded and if I made $1 million and if I'm more famous than Stan Lee, and then come and tell us. That's the nature.
You're more alive than Stan Lee.
That's probably good.
Oh my gosh.
Well, guys, it was fun hanging out and talking a little bit about this.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. Which will launch live on Indie Volt this Friday. Not Indiegogo, like previously stated by Trish.
Yeah, I tried to correct it from the bathroom, but
You can't never leave me alone.
Well, I can if you just, be chill. Just
23 years, you think I'm chill?
no. No. But I'm hoping you want it to succeed, not fail.
I do want it to succeed. Very much so.
Honestly, all the people that show up to Indiegogo waiting for our campaign to launch are going to be sad.
Mike, have you ever tried, handing Trish a face cloth and asking her, "Hey, does this smell like chloroform?"
No.
It's an idea.
No, because I'd still be there when she woke up. So.
Oh yeah.
And I know most of our friends like to talk. So I'd wake up from my 3-hour nap and I know that we'd still be going on some podcast.
Oh, no, that's not true, baby. You don't want to leave me for 3 hours on anything because after about 2 hours, I'm hungry.
That's true.
At 3 hours,
he's hangry.
It's going to have to be Neil Gaiman to still have me hanging out. I'm going to let go of Will here in a minute because we're working that way. And I'm going to get food.
Okay. So you know what Mike's doing tonight. I'm going to go play Wizards 101 if anybody wants to join me.
Not that they could. So
I'm going to go make myself another Irish coffee and then relaunch a stream for the Seanzilla Art Show.
We all have a mission now.
Yes, we do. So check out the book.
Yes, please.
Hit up the link. The link is also in the show notes, either up above or down below, depending on where you are watching this evening. If you're listening, you can just follow myself. You'll see it on my Twitter stream at JokerFan on Twitter. And where can we find you guys on social media?
Facebook would be the easiest place to find us.
Yeah, we do have Twitch and Instagram, but we're not really on them. We are Facebook. We're that generation, where we live on the Facebook. The book of many faces, as our Renaissance friends always say.
I have an Instagram. I look at art and stuff, and I say hey to people on it once in a while. But I'm not likely to check it. If you're really looking for me, that wouldn't be a good place to find me. If you look on Facebook, you will find me. I will be there. Every day, I will check it from my phone, my tablet. So, it shouldn't be hard to get me there. If you want to find me on Twitch or TikTok or something like that, maybe. I have those platforms, but I don't use them very well. So...
We're the genre of Facebook, and Mike's James Bankston, and I am Trish Bankston, as it says their names, and you can find us on Facebook, or usually Haunting the Backgrounds as podcasts, usually. So
yeah, there's a lot of podcasts we're around for.
Yes.
And this Friday on Indie Volt with Varian and Krista and a slew of other people.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't even know who's all going to be on it. We just know there'll be people.
There's always people over there hanging out.
There's always people hanging out with them. And I will upload this later on tonight, and it will be available to download as a podcast anywhere you can get your podcast from.
It was fun.
Until next time, we'll talk in between. I'm going to try to make it Friday night by there, and we will catch everybody later on.